Hello students, I just want to share a few resources with you to help you study bone markings better. The first part of the bone markings of this week, we will cover the bones of the skull and vertebrae and the upper body bones and bone markings. And then we will cover the bone markings of the lower extremities next week. The content for this week's lab is in the lab folder in week 6. On week 6 folder, if you click on the lab folder, you see two files all the way to the top. And if you open each file, there's a list of bone markings that you are expected to know. And I will only hold you responsible for these bone markings in this list for the upper body bones, and then we have another list for the bones and bone markings of the exoskeleton and vertebrae. We have another list that you need to know. So here's a list of bone markings that you are expected to know. If I were you, I would print out some pictures in this handout and highlight the bone markings I need to know. And then I would study them and practice over and over after I hide make sure you hide the bone markings on the pictures and try to identify them on your own. So for this week, I only expect you to know the bone markings in the tables in these handouts. So these are the two handouts that I need you to know, and only focus on the bone markings in the table. I repeat, only focus on the bone markings in the tables provided in this document. There are some wonderful resources that you have along with your textbook. I'd like you to look at something called as Anatomy and Physiology Revealed. So if you scroll down, you see all the assignments. After you scroll down, you'll be able to locate Anatomy and Physiology Revealed. Once you click on Anatomy and Physiology Revealed, it will take you to the software. Sometimes it might ask you for a code on, it might say, does your instructor have a code? You can just click no and go on. And if you haven't logged into McGraw-Hill, it may have you log in using your McGraw-Hill or school credentials again. So the way you can use Anatomy and Physiology Revealed is by clicking Select Module. And in the module, you can click Skeletal System. And in the Skeletal System, you can click whichever bone or bone marking you want to study. For example, I'm going to look at, say, the pectoral girdle, shoulder, and arm. And you can select an anterior view or a posterior view. And once you click on, let's just say, the clavicle gets highlighted in blue. And if you want to read more about where did it go? Well, sometimes you get a little information of the structure in here. But if you go back to my course content, you can study the bone markings on the clavicle or the humerus, whichever you intend to study. Let's just see. If you click on the humerus, it's going to show you the whole humerus. You want to look at the head of the humerus. It's going to highlight the head of the humerus. So everything of interest is highlighted in blue. So let's just see if we can pick the clavicle alone. Yeah, so we have the clavicle bone alone. What you're looking at is a superior view of the clavicle and the inferior view of the clavicle. And if you want to know specific bone marking, you can click on the bone marking, like the acromial end. The acromial end of the clavicle is the end that articulates with the acromion or the shoulder. That's why it's called the acromion end of the clavicle. And then we have the conoid tubercle. We click on there you go. So you want to first unselect everything in here. Let's just say you want to click on the conoid tubercle. Right now you have the conoid tubercle highlighted, and if you click on the sternal end, this is the sternal end which articulates with the sternum right over here. That's what we call this a sternal end. Okay, so once you're done studying, you can use this to study any bone of the body. And once you are done studying, if you want, okay, let's just look at another example, like the radius and the ulna. So this is the radius and the ulna. You can select the coronoid process of the ulna. The head of the radius is highlighted. The interosseous membrane of the forearm is highlighted. Then we have the neck of the radius, radial tuberosity. So anything that you select will get highlighted in blue. Okay, so you can use this tool to study the bones and bone markings. And if you want to quiz yourself, you can click on this little check mark over here. So click on quiz, and you can select the topic. Let's just say my structures. If you want to just look at or be quizzed on the axial skeleton, you can select a lab practical, say 10 questions. Okay. All right, so well, you can just do. Now I'm going to not save the results. Okay, I'm going to do the quiz again. Select the topic, select my structures. I'll just say appendicular skeleton. We can select multiple choice, 10 of them. Okay, what is this? What you're looking at is the scapula, and the structure of interest would be highlighted in blue. So the question is, what structure is highlighted? So this is the medial angle or medial border of the scapula. So there it is. And you can quiz yourself. So next question is going to, again, ask you what bone it is. You can continue to use this quiz. And we are not going to focus on histology in this, so you don't have to worry about histology. If you go to my course content, you have some animations for different regions of the body if you want to look at. For example, the exploded skull. There's an animation of the exploded skull that shows you different parts of the exploded skull. Okay, this is about anatomy and physiology reveals, and this, I just want to repeat, the little check mark over here is for the quiz. And if you just want to study, you can just go back to anatomy and just practice anatomy. Okay, so the other resource I want to show you is GetBodySmart. GetBodySmart is a really good tool for practicing the skeletal system. So here you can quiz yourself on the upper body bones. Okay, you can study, and you can actually also quiz yourself on this website. Okay, it's a really good website for studying and quizzing yourself. So the website is GetBodySmart.com. Okay. Now, a really fun website is this. If you type in Google Vavabone, this really cool game shows up. It's called Vavabone Anatomy Arcade. So you just want to install soft player. We'll add a Flash plugin. Okay, the Flash player is blocked, but we're going to figure this out. You can go to settings. In settings, you can go to site settings, and in site settings you can go to Flash, and you can just change this block sites from running Flash to ask first, and then go back. Let's reload. You can go back to the page of interest. Now once you reload it, you'll be able to allow Flash to run. Okay, and now this is a really cool game. I'm going to mute this. Wow. Okay. Oops. Okay, you can click begin, and you can pick like whatever you want to play. You can just continue to play at different stages. This is a carpal, drag and drop, metacarpals, humerus, phalanges, the clavicles over here. Radius is laterally located. The scapula, the ulna is medially located, and you have it all. Okay, and so on. You can actually use this game and it'll go up. And you can at least learn the major bones of the body on this game, and then you can move on to the nitty-gritty on anatomy and physiology reveal. So these are some really good resources that can help you practice bones and bone markings, and I hope these resources help you.